Hi, folks, and welcome to episode 152. Better late than never. Um, if you know, you know. What I'm referring to is I didn't get this show posted until like 17 minutes ago. Today has been very crazy and hectic. Um, but, it is what it is, right? We got McMurray with us. We may or may not have a warm up. We may or may not have a Reese. Who knows? We don't know. It all depends on what they're up to. So, but like I said, we do have McMurray. How you doing, McMurray?
Oh, just another day in paradise, man.
Living the dream, right?
Something like that. Not really. I still can't get this goddamn 3D printer to print. Um. Oh shit! Actually, I take that back. There's like two fucked up holes, except for they're all jacked up. Here, this is fun. At first, it looked like nothing printed, but let's see if I can get this to kick on here. No, you can't see it. Hang on. All right, so I've got nubs of supports now, but only like
Yeah.
two ships, and they peel off the supports.
That's weird.
As you guys can probably see, that's probably a little easier to see. Who the fuck knows, man? I can't stand this thing. I'm
Which
about
one
to
is it?
just. It's the Saturn S, which, like, I don't know why I have this many problems. The Mars 2 Pro was fucking fantastic, and this is essentially just a larger version of it, as far as I know,
Yeah.
in terms of the screens are monochrome, like, you know what I mean? I don't
Right.
know that there's any real difference there. But here I am driving myself absolutely fucking nuts. And it's a
Well,
real shame because honestly, if I needed to print, if I needed 6 mil stuff, that thing should be able to print like a full tank company in 6 mil with no problem if I could
right.
just get it to fucking print something.
Right.
So now I'm having to run around looking for 6 mil stuff because I can't just print quite literally whatever I want. Because with Bergman, if I wanted to just all of a sudden say, you know what, I think I'm going to do Blitzkrieg polls, then I could do Blitzkrieg polls without really any trouble whatsoever.
Right.
Honestly, it'd almost be easier because TKSs they don't need turrets printed. And I feel like the 7TPs would be relatively simple as well. Because I want to say that when he's got little machine gun turrets like that, sometimes he prints them together. Maybe not. Maybe not. I think I had to print them for my A9s, but that's when I would just ask if you could do your magic like you did with your 3 mil and stick the turrets into the holes because at
Yeah.
6, your turrets are turning. You've got way too much time on your hands.
Right. 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 Well, the good news is I got my issue with printing solved.
Oh, outstanding.
Um, by what I decided to do is, at least for convention games, I went to 1/3000 scale just because I
Oh, for
think
your
they'll,
naval stuff?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it'll just look better on the table, right? And I got them on there and printed them at a put them on a 30-degree angle. So seem
So
to be
did you do
working.
that bow up or stern up, or did you hit it starboard or port up?
Just bow up. at 30
I always have
degrees.
trouble with that because invariably, whatever supports I put under my stern gun tubes either fail or don't quite adhere quite as well as I need them to. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not doing. It's weird because sometimes, like Chitterbox, when you go to auto support, it'll put supports under like 1 or 2 tubes if you've got 3 or so.
Right.
I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm definitely fucking something up. But whatever. That's neither here nor there right now. Here is my Blitzkrieg Commander rulebook. Chappelle, which I think has all kinds of extra army lists at the end of it. Yes, it does.
Now, the one thing I keep having a problem with, and it's resolved rather easily by just super glue onto the base, but
yeah, they
my
pop
ships
up a little bit.
They like to do that.
One thing I have noticed is if I cure the bottoms of the ships first, then it doesn't happen because most of the time mine are there because they're adhering to the supports just fine, right?
Yeah, no, they come out fine. It's just when I cure them.
Yeah, so cure the bottom first, because what's happening is you're curing the top, and then in that curing process, it constricts. Or how stuff shrinks ever so slightly.
Yeah.
So if you maybe cure the bottom first, and you don't have to cure it fully first, but if you hit it for like a minute, then it goes a long way to fix that.
Yeah.
I discovered that with some of my little stuff. Big models don't really do it as much, obviously, because they're far larger models. So a minor shrinkage isn't a huge deal. But I did learn that with my 16000.
I really don't have that problem with my tanks. I mean, I guess I kind of do for the whole plat, but individually I don't have a problem, right?
No, they're well. The thing is, the thicker the model, like it's got to bend a whole lot more. You know what I mean? It's with the small ships, and I've noticed it with bases a little bit too. Like when they don't have ridged edges on them. Yeah, I've noticed that to be an issue, but yeah.
So
one thing.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. One thing I think I might just say screw it and try is printing larger scale ships just directly onto the build plate. Say fuck it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially like the WTJ ones that are already hollowed.
Right.
And they have drain holes built into the funnels.
Okay. Yeah.
The 1 to 1500 scale ones do.
Yeah.
So then, the 1/1800 scale do. But the 1/1800 have supports built in underneath their guns already, which is important because, again, otherwise it can be a little screwy. And they're a whole lot easier to rescale to 1/1200 or 1/600 because it's just 33%.
Right.
The big thing is it's a whole lot easier to scale to 1/1200 for not necessarily gigantic, colossal games, but so that they'll scale with like the Houston figures that I have and stuff like that. Because you just go to 66% as opposed to I can never remember what it is for 1/1500 to 1/1200. But yeah, luckily they come in both scales, so it doesn't matter. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, so that's what we're doing tonight. We're looking at Blitzkrieg Commander and trying to figure out what sort of thing I want to try and run. I don't know if I gave 6mm buildings back to Todd, but that's
of course you did.
Easy enough to figure out. If I did, then yeah. It's not like he lives an insurmountable distance away from me here. So
no, not at all. Not at all. No. Well, Panther Shadow came in at 7:59 saying, "Howdy, folks." Panther Shadow, that's my line, but I'm glad you're using it. Richard Keenan came in, said, "Waves." Telemachus, when was the last time you heard, guys, my balls dropped today. I'm now a man.
I'm proud of you,
Today would
Telemachus.
be the first and last time. Just saying.
In any case, I'm proud of you, buddy.
Yeah, good for you. Welcome to the club. Charles says, "Evening. How you doing, Charles? Thanks for dropping in, buddy. I appreciate it." Panther Shadow comes back says, "McMurray, is the air temp normal? Mine goes to poop if it's too hot or humid." Well, I can tell you today it's neither hot nor humid in the blustery Midwest. Because yesterday was beautiful.
Real honest with you. Usually mine performs quite well when it's like 80 degrees or so.
Yeah.
Or even a little bit higher sometimes in there. So I turned on a space heater, and it probably is 75, 80 degrees in there. But I did make sure that it is plenty warm on the vat, because I know that I have had trouble in the past where, I'll wait until it gets warmer out and then try the exact same thing, and it'll just go no problem.
Yeah.
But so because of that, I made sure that it's warm in that room, and then more specifically warm at the machine, as well as putting the resin that I was putting into the machine, right there where it also stays quite warm.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Well, we're about to find out how well this one does. My Mars 3 Pro, 4K Pro, does when it's cold, because it is as cold as shit in my office, because hey, it was warm the last couple of days, and we've got baseboard heaters instead of central heating, and so I didn't want to broil in here, so I turned the heaters off. Well, it got down to 22 last night. Fucking snowed here. It didn't stick, but there was fucking ice everywhere.
Yep.
After it being damn near 70 yesterday. Actually, it was over 70 yesterday.
I'm about to say it was 80 yesterday.
Yeah, Oh, and we lost power last night at some point in time, because apparently we had a thunderstorm.
Probably sometime around the snow.
What's that?
Probably sometime around the snow.
Probably so, yeah. But that's neither here nor there, I guess. But yeah, I'm running my Italians, my Italian cruisers right now for Cape Matapan. No. I'm doing the British destroyers for Cape Matapan.
Oh, okay.
Right now, I've got the cruisers and the battleships, and the cruisers, the battleships, and the aircraft carrier for Cape Matapan, the British ships for Cape Matapan. Here, I'm currently clipping bases for them.
Oh, nice.
So, and I did as part of my test print to see how well they worked. I did do my USS Texas, of course.
Nice.
I'm a little upset that the Z turret guns are not. I mean, you look down on them; they look fine. You look at the side on them, and they're all.
Yeah, they're flat and like pointed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they weren't supported underneath. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, but none of the other guns are like that.
Yep, I know. That's because they caught the random supports on Shitterbox.
No, see, like these here?
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
That was weird. Just that's the only one. The Texas was the only one that did that. It was really weird.
Yep. Like I said, so when you hit auto on Shooter Box, like half the time it'll get them, and sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. And it doesn't really matter what scale you're at either, because I've had it happen on my my 1200 scale stuff too.
Interesting.
Drives me absolutely batshit.
What is it?
That's why I was thinking about doing it at bike tilting off to the port or starboard side.
Yeah.
But you get the damn things to print first.
Well, there is that. Meandering Mike says, "I'm here. Better late than never, I guess." Well, that is the name of the episode. So, I mean,
Mike, it's always good to see you, buddy. Hey, Mike, Telemachus' balls dropped apparently, so we got that going for us. It's a celebratory show now.
It's, speaking of better late than never.
And that's not me talking shit. He actually asked about that if you scroll up in the chat.
Yeah. And then Charles came back and said a storm chaser was out in that weather looking for tornadoes last night over in Indiana. I mean, it was the right kind of weather. Really hot. Wasn't really humid, but we did a precipitous temperature drop from, like I said, 75, almost 80 degrees here, about an hour north of St. Louis. And like I said, we got down to 22 last night. We're going to have, we're going to have a low of 21 tonight, or was that last night? We're going to get down to about 24 tonight, 23 tomorrow morning. So, but it'll be bounced back up to 51. So, hey, Jesus.
That's fine. It means I can grill tomorrow. That's good.
There you go.
Priorities and stuff.
Exactly. So, I know we didn't do our normal start with talking about Wiley Games because there's no sales going on right now. But we are getting ready for the next game to come out. And that is Arena of Blood.
I think you mean Amphitheater of Entrails.
Yeah. Let's
Arena of Death.
One thing that you should never do is argue with the creator about something they've created. It's just you don't do it.
Yeah, it happens.
But Jay Wiley is working on getting Arena of Blood out to the masses. He's finishing up a couple fine points, and we'll have something out fairly quickly, I would say. Definitely by the end of the year, if not maybe even by mid-year.
For Arena of Blood?
Yeah, it needs talking like maybe June or July.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought it was a lot closer than that, given that he just needs
actually get it out and to the public.
If he prints it, maybe, but if it's just going up as a PDF, it could probably be done a whole lot quicker than that.
Oh, yeah. It might be done by the end of March if he does just a PDF.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. That's up to Mr. Wiley.
Yep, exactly. So, Panther Shadow says, Arena of Blood? I'm guessing it's a romance. Yes, it's a love story of how two mostly naked men will come together and
to
make
play
their feelings
great
known.
campaigns of the American Civil War.
Right. Yes.
You guys can hop on over to Hex to Hex and Wardrobe's channel and see how that progress is coming along.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm just kidding. They know we kind of like them. What other game are you running, Chris? We talked about how you're going with Cape Matapan.
Yeah, the other one I'm doing is What a Tanker, World War II What a Tanker, and only because it's something I have done so many times, and I've got everything ready to go. I have literally nothing to do to get ready for it.
And what are you looking at for that in terms of, are you doing Eastern Front, you doing Western Front, you doing
No, it is. I guess it would be considered late war because it's September 44 in the south of France.
Pretty damn late war, yeah.
Yeah. It is the Americans pushing north through I think it's the Rhone River Valley up through Montelimar on their way to on their way to Germany. So we're going to have, and it's going to be a little ahistorical because I am going to have a Pershing available. I'm also going to have a Jagdtiger or Jagdpanther available.
A Pershing?
Yep. Yeah, Pershing.
Was the Pershing in production in September of 44?
I don't know. It's like I said, it's going to be ahistorical. It's more of, letting people see what, here's the table. Here's some M4s. Here's some Panzer IVs, some Panzer III, some M10s. Y'all want a big gun out there? Here's a Pershing. Here's a Jagdpanther.
Are you playing in 15 mil?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Like I said, it's. I've run it many times before. I've run it I ran it at recruits a couple times with my brother. I've done it. I've even run it at a couple of virtual.
Yeah, I've played it virtually a few times. Actually,
what's that?
I've played it virtually, maybe a few times.
Yeah, but there's a convention out east called ScrumCon that went 100% virtual during COVID, and my brother Jay and I ran it for them, and had a pretty good turnout. Had 8 players from literally all over the country and Canada, so that was pretty cool.
That is pretty outstanding.
Yeah. So I've got Cape Matapan for Ocean Thunder. I've got What a Tanker running, and I told Jay and Robin if they need me to run additional sessions, I can run additional What a Tanker, no problem. I can run additional Ocean Thunder if people wanted me to also. We've got 6 game sessions for March to Victory.
2 on Friday, 4 on Saturday.
Yep. Telemachus with the numbers here. Pershing was produced from November 44 to October of 45.
Yep.
So it conceivably, if I said it's late enough in 44.
No, because I don't think they hit Europe until March.
Probably not.
But yeah.
But it's like the tigers in North Africa.
Well, except for there were actually tigers in North Africa.
Like what? 7 of them?
2 or 3 Schwer Panzerabteilungen, so 2 or 3 battalions when they were mixed with Panzer IIIs when they were paired.
Yeah.
So I mean, the tiger actually had a presence in North Africa. The Pershing, I think, made it into Europe in, let's see here. They weren't even deployed, or they weren't even ordered to be deployed to Europe until late December 44.
Yeah.
There were 20 that arrived at the end of January. They were not even redesignated and taken out of testing status until March. The first one to see combat was knocked out on the 26th of February. Nice.
So 80 years ago, the 80-year anniversary was 2 days ago.
It'd be the 79th because that was 1945.
Oh yeah, 45. Yeah.
But yeah, anyhow.
Cool. Very cool.
Yep.
Oh, what is it, kitten? Yeah.
You know what would be cool, and what would always be fun, is Americans and Brits beating the shit out of Vichy French.
Yeah.
But not this year because I'm sitting here not able to print anything.
What would the Vichy French? What would the Vichy French have been supplied with?
So the big time that Americans ran into the Vichy French was in North Africa during Operation Torch.
Oh, okay.
All the equipment that the French surrendered with in 1940. So, I mean, it's not that there's a small amount, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The French had kind of a lot of guys in North Africa at the time. But yeah, let's see here. Oh man, come on.
Telemachus with the big numbers again. First shipment of Persians arrived in Antwerp in January of 45. They were given to the First Army, which split them between the 3rd and 9th Armored Divisions. So there you go.
Telemachus is also reading Wikipedia, which means he's in just a minute or two here. He'll let Fireball get knocked out on the 26th of February as well. But yeah, anyways, so as far as I know, I know that Vichy French and American tanks did engage one another in North Africa. I'm sitting here having a hell of a time trying to find that, but yeah.
Go on, go.
But it's certainly entertaining. I know that there was a lot more clash between the French and the British. I mean, like the British took Madagascar, they took a number of other islands, as well as then engaging the French Navy multiple times, not just at Mers El Kabir.
Yeah.
But yeah. So either way, let's see here. Come on.
Did you see that we have a set date for J3?
Yes. The 7th to the 9th?
Correct.
Yeah.
Which works perfectly for me because on the 1st of June, I shall be at the Dome in Middle America there in St. Louis, the old Edward Jones Dome, to watch the home team of the St. Louis Battlehawks. Playing against my home team of the San Antonio Brahmas in the UFL.
Sweet.
On my birthday, no less. I mean, it couldn't have worked out better. Well, I mean, it could. I could get free tickets, but that's not going to happen. So. Oh, gosh.
Let's see here. No, not. I know fucking Operation Torch, motherfucker. I know about Naval Battle of Casablanca. Anyways, doesn't matter. We're gonna go back to actually doing things that matter. The moral of the story here is never forget that the entire or almost the entire government of France and a good chunk of their population just immediately slipped into ball gobbling, collaborating. Excuse me.
True facts.
And there go all of our French viewers. All three of you. Bye. That being said, we should have a spike in British viewership now.
We should. We would hope, right?
Just the same way, never forget that the Soviets invaded Poland in 1939 also, and also committed unspeakable atrocities like at Katyn. Fuck them. There we go. There goes all of our communist membership as well.
Got no problem with that.
Right? All right. So I was thinking about like Aircourt. The issue is miniatures games have real trouble equating the big old skill difference that made the entire like difference in September of 44 there, right? Because you have all these American tankers that have been fighting for, 3 straight months versus German tankers who are on semi-rest and recreation / ultra replacement status and are used to the Eastern Front where they can kind of just go gallivanting around doing sort of whatever in tanks, right? Because if you're in a Panther on the Eastern Front, up until a certain point in time, it's kind of like how you get, all of these super tank aces. Like, it's not hard to be a super ace tank ace in 1943. When you're driving around the Eastern Front in a Tiger One. I'm sorry, Panther Shadow. I don't mean for you to leave. I'm not sorry about saying what I said. That's absolutely true. It needs to be said and shouted from the rooftops. I'm sorry that you're going to leave. Don't do it, buddy. But yeah. So what you get is this massively super duper experienced American force fighting out of Shermans and whatnot, just knocking out Panthers and everything. Left, right, and center because, well, there's a skill difference there. But that's really, really hard to do on the tabletop. So that's probably not going to be what we're looking at. Which is partially why I wanted to do Blitzkrieg.
Right.
Because then we could do like the battles around Arras. Except for that'd be really hard to do without a way to acquire or 3D print or whatever those miniatures in the next 3 weeks. But that's okay. That is A-okay. Hopefully at some point in time, Mini War Model will get on here because we're going to talk about a challenge that I think Axe Hanax is running. But yeah, that's neither here nor there at this point.
Speaking of challenges, I think I'm going to postpone mine a little bit. Instead of starting in March and running for 3 months, I think I'm just going to run for the month of May. Got a lot of things on a personal level coming up, so I'm not going to be doing as much painting as I probably want to. and I'm definitely not going to be able to do a 24-hour or even a 12-hour session. So yeah, we don't have that coming up yet. Somebody says you'll have your work cut out to offend me. I have no clue most of the time as it is. That's the way it should be told.
Well, there you go. If it helps, maybe Penelope was a dick, and so is Odysseus.
There you go. Gamers with cos. God.
Hi, Ashley.
Gamers with hi, Ashley. Yeah.
How
are you doing?
But yes, the long story short is Penelope was a hamster and Odysseus smelt of elderberries. All right, where's my 6 mil? Let's do this. Get it? Because Telemachus is Odysseus and Penelope's child. So his father was a hamster, his mother was a hamster. His father
I was picking up what you're putting down, man. I
got you. Well, I don't know if all of our viewers are. Maybe they're not so hip on the Odyssey, man. I don't know.
Or you know, they might have got the Odyssey reference, but they didn't get the
Monty Python reference, man.
The Monty Python reference.
It's a rough life out there, keeping track of us sometimes. I tend to just kind of slide the viewers a little bit extra credit a lot.
And Gamers with Coffee says it's coffee, Chris. Yes, I'm aware of that, Ashley. I was a little tongue-tied.
Chris thought it was gamers who are coughing and went with that.
Actually, words escape me because words are hard.
You're not coughing today.
Yeah, I figured it out.
You're doing quite well. Oh yeah, what was it?
So, it in the house normally, it's about 35, between 32 and 37% humidity, which is really low.
All right.
For me. So what I started doing is I hit each nostril with a Flonase right before bed when I take my night meds. I hit each nostril with a Flonase, and then sleep with a humidifier in the bedroom set to 50%. Boom, Bob's your uncle.
Good to hear. Good to hear. My house is also quite dry most of the time. I don't know if that's a bad thing or if it's ultimately helping me out. Hey, look, there's a box of Cav models. Close. Back in the back of the cabinet where you were.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of partially painted 28mm Germans. Here's a bunch.
Don't need those.
What's up?
Don't need those.
Well, especially not considering that I already have several platoons of Germans painted up. There are a bunch of bases for, Protest to Honor, right? Those little 3 bases that I got really excited about until I found out that the holes are actually like 15/16 of an inch, not an inch like they said they were. So they're just completely worthless to me, which is real disappointing.
That's a pain.
It's something, man. Like, whatever. Such is life. Oh, that was unpleasant sounding. All right. Let's find what 6mm tanks I have painted that are not based for Rommel. Because right now I don't really need stuff that's multi-based. On big bases, right. I need individually based stuff. So here's my entire case of 6mm Rommel stuff. It's all based and painted and pretty and cool. That is pretty cool. But not today. Not today, folks.
Unless you want to run Rommel.
Heavy ass case, though, I'll tell you that much. They might be 6mm, but they're all on steel bases, and enough 6mm white metal will still get heavy.
Yeah, it will. Like I said, you could run. You could run Rommel.
It's not.
Not the best convention game.
Feasibly I could. It's not super ideal. There's a whole bunch more British, and what the fuck are those? Oh, there's French. There's French. There's early war French. Okay. What are you? You are... God damn, that's a lot of Stuarts. Stuart. There's a bunch of early war French, though. There's 12, looks like R35s, and then 17 Somois. Well, that's not even a fucking... That's like 2 companies worth. My thought was to do a American Armored Battalion. So I'd have 3 companies of Shermans and a company of Stuarts running up on something. I don't know what. It'd have to be Germans, but yeah. But let's see here. There is a shitload of Italians. Not today, Skippy. No. What are you? Maybe Lord of the Rings? Yep. There's a bunch of little Gondor dudes for Lord of the Rings. And a couple members of the Fellowship. That's cool. Okay.
God damn it.
Close that back up. That's a cool game. It really is. The miniatures.
Which game?
I take that back. The miniatures are really cool. The game kind of blows. Oh man,
Which
here's
game
my
is
6mm Rata. That's cool. I forgot I had that thing. 3D printed that bad boy. That's huge. That's
Panther Shadow says, "Can't we all see McMurray's shame pile?" Dude, you just need to go look at St. Louis on Google Maps.
Panoramic lens.
And just look at his house.
Okay, there's 6mm Rata. There's all the turrets to it. There's a 6mm mouse. There's 3 6mm or 4 6mm A29 tortoises, I think is what they are. It's one of the mouse turrets, goes on Rata. Here is a whole, I think that's a U.S. Recon and Tank Destroyer platoon.
Oh, there you go.
There's a company command. There's a company of Shermans. There is the company command group of Shermans. There is 2 batteries of priests. And a whole bunch of various marks of U.S. half-track. Here's a bunch of U.S. armor for Rommel that I need to finish painting, and then base. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bases of Stuarts, which is entertaining because that's almost 3 battalions worth of Stuarts. We've got 1 Recce base, a base of M8s, which is also a Recce base, which again, unfortunately, isn't really a thing in Rommel. What the hell are these? Oh. And then we've got Lees, and Lees. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases of Lees. And each of these are companies in Rommel, correct? Yeah. So yeah, that's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 companies of Stuarts, which is 8 U.S. armored battalions worth of Stuarts for Rommel. I don't know if I have 24 armored battalions worth of Shermans. I don't know if the U.S. necessarily ever put 24 armored battalions into a theater of operations that would be encompassed by Rommel, mainly on account of the fact that most of the time, if you're controlling a division in a game of Rommel, that is an exceptionally large force. All right, let's see. What do we have here? Here we have World War II naval. The based ships are Italians, so Navigatori, Soldatis, Turbines, cruisers, I don't remember. These are Nazi H-class or Plan Z ships. Luigi Cadorna, Duca da Costa. What do we have here? This bad boy is. These three are all. No, what are those? Oh, Zaris, duh. San Giorgio, Trento, and there we have Littorio. More Kraut, Panzer Schiff. These are all CNC. Then here is a GHQ Bismarck and a GHQ Prinz Eugen. These, I think, are actually Navor. This is 100% World War One. I wonder if that's actually HMS Australia for World War II. It doesn't matter. But yeah, these are obviously newer models. Those are from Cruel Seas. No idea why they're in here. But yeah, these are German. Actually, these are German non-Plan Z, but I did complete Graf Zeppelin. These are the German Plan Z ships. But yes, then you've got Bismarck, Tirpitz, Gneisenau, Scharnhorst, two of the Admiral Hippers, Lutzow and what do you call it? Lutzow and Graf Spee. There are 3 K classes. You can tell because they got that goofy ass rear turret layout, and then 2 destroyers. Those are all in 12400. Hell, maybe I should have just ordered a bunch of Panzer Schiff Brits and run a great big clusterfuck of a Fine Fiction Strike game, but we'll never know.
There you go.
Well, again, the issue is I would need 12400 Brits, and I don't have a way to 3D print right now. So, what do we have next up? Next up, we've got Soviet and some German for Rommel. So 1, 2, 3 bases of Katyushas. 1, 2 bases of those ISs, or no, they're just slightly larger scales. They're either CNC or GHQ. I can never remember which is bigger. T485s, 76s, 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 76s. The rest of them are all T34 76s. These are German light infantry guns. Light infantry gun, light infantry gun, light infantry gun, light infantry gun. 2 bases of German King Tigers, 1 base of Panthers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases of 38Ts. So again, these are based for Rommel. Each stand is a company. Rommel's a cool game. It kind of bridges the gap between traditional board games and miniatures games. This one's kind of a cool box. So up front here, we've got some random Shermans, couple random covered Jeeps, bunch of Jeeps, and then some M8 Scots. And then we have one of my favorite painted 6mm collections, which is an early war German Panzer battalion. Got some support in the forms of some really early Stug A's, bunch of 222s, and then an infantry battalion's worth of half tracks as well. Then we do have the command element up here for the armor, and then some Panzer IV J's because they're just cool. Ignore them. Or I'm sorry, they're early G's. Ignore them. Don't worry about them. Kind of like these guys. I know they're not painted the same, but the rest of these guys were all painted in that unified kind of weird gray brown armor scheme. So we've got heavy companies and then 2 medium companies, as well as each company then has its light platoon and then medium or heavy platoons. So that's cool. That makes me happy. As well as, again, obviously command tank and backup. So that's cool. That would be cool. That's a cool early war force. Again, the issue is my French are about this equivalent. So, yeah. I know that I have a bunch of this crap in the smaller sized containers, like these here Desert Italians. but I don't know where they are. Look at that little goober, a little Lancia L33.
Wonderful tank. Best tank in the war.
Yeah, actually, I think, no shit, this bad boy right here is exactly the one that Hippie was trying to claim was up for grabs as the greatest tank. The Lancia L3 or L100 or Lancia, whatever it was, with the 100mm mounted on the top of it like a fucking idiot. Not the SEMA T75, which certainly has an argument for being one of the better Italian vehicles that was produced during the war. But yeah. Oh, that's a cool one too. They're a little, I don't even remember what caliber it is now, 90mm maybe. AA gun that's essentially, that functionally is very similar to a 88. Oh, there's some Germans mixed in here too. Here are some that are done up like Africa Corps, and then these two random dipshits with their 20mm flak. But the rest of these are all Italian, so that's cool. I don't even remember painting those. Who knows? All right. Yes, and I'm wondering where all the rest of this is, / how quickly Panzer ships. So in all actuality, if Panzer ships quickly, you could probably order some fucking World War One stuff too. Although, you know where there's some World War One stuff? I know where there's some World War One stuff. There is some World War One stuff down in the basement of McMurray. I don't know exactly how much. Hang on. Let's turn the camera around and go on an adventure, boys and girls. Okay. All right. Let's go downstairs and find what World War One stuff is down there. Let's put a hat on first, though, in case I knock my head on some stuff, because the rafters in the basement are a little bit low. All right. They're also not rafters. They're floor joists for the main floor. So it's an important distinction. Even though they are functionally the same for bonking your head on, there is an important difference there. All right.
Yep.
This is the box. It should have them in it. So there you go. Who was that said they wanted to see McMurray's like just bundle of shit?
That'd be Panther Shadow.
Oh, Panther Shadow. Well, I guess if it keeps Panther Shadow here, then that's a good thing. All right, let's see here. Oh, yes, this actually has a couple different scales of World War I naval in it.
Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Holy shnikes.
So we've got 1/600 lakes, right? So this is 1/600 action on Lake Tanganyika, as well as this is sand pebbles. But so that's what all kind of this stuff is right there, as well as these are still 1/600. These are the Dows. The natives went across the lake in. And we got some guns for that, obviously. A couple armored cars for that. One of those little 2mm armored cars. So a whole bunch of terrain. So a church, some huts. There's Mimi and Tutu, and then two other unnamed Mimi and Tutus. These are the biplanes that I use for that game. Those use David Manley's Steamer Wars rules. They're outstanding. There is a little village I use for that. Here are the port facilities that I use when needed for that game. Unnamed steamer. Again, more port facilities for that game. Look over at the other port facilities. One of the headquarters. A heavy shore-based gun. Oh, here's one of those 3/8" strike plates, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, that's a heavy artillery piece. But then we've got some ships that should look slightly more familiar. Here is a Tranto, which is really similar to what your father-in-law was on, grandfather?
granddad.
Granddad, there you
granddad.
go.
Yeah.
2-stack, big guy. Because this is for the Battle of Cornell. And then
Okay, there you
also Falkland Islands, which is why Canopus is here. This is HMS, big pre-dreadnought, big old 12-inch guns. The Germans, even with their relatively modern stuff, weren't ready for that. The hell is this fucking thing?
Panzer Shadow says the first shame pile I've seen that includes multiple floors.
Shut up, man. I think I've only showed you guys, I've mostly showed you painted models at this point. But yes, that's Scharnhorst and maybe Gneisenau. I don't remember. I think, well, they were both Scharnhorst class. Anyways, German armored cruisers, and then there's some British cruisers. Honestly, if I can't figure out the 3D printing, these are what Axanax is going to wind up with, because that's the whole point, is that you have World War I naval in a manageably small scale that is then incredibly simple to play, simple to get into, easy to go with. I was hoping to send him unpainted models, but if I have to, these are the ones. So, and then also a copy of David Manley's CPAC and Parabellum, which are very good World War I naval rules. Very good. They're written by David Manley at Long Face Games. Of course, they're outstanding. But this is also where I have a bunch of terrain and whatnot. There's all kinds of stuff down here. That's what I was looking for, though. Unfortunately, I don't believe there's much, if any, 6 mil down here. There's a little bit of 6 mil, but not what I need. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, here's two. These are funny, because I think I got these for like $5 a piece or some shit. But here's two of the GW Great Eagles.
Oh, there you go.
Those are direct only. Fuck that whole company. Smore 24 or 28. So there's a KV1, some half tracks, there's a couple T28s down here as well. Hummel. Oh, here's another. Since we were talking about the goobers, here's a Fiat 3000, aka a ripped off FT17 that they then added horsepower and unreliability to, because that's how the Italian automotive industry makes tanks, is with
Well, that's how they make their cars too. So
are 6 mil, but they're all cavalry and a couple aircraft, so nothing we're needing to fuck with today. There's a couple half tracks, but we got more than enough half tracks. I don't even think there's any 6 mil terrain down here. There shouldn't be. There are. Chris, this is the What a Tanker game we need to run at some point in time, is the What a Tanker game where we play with these. I think these were 148.
Oh, yeah.
And people just take their tank home with them. So
There
I've
you go.
got far too many. You can see I got 1, 2, 3 layers, and then there's a 4th layer under here too. And they're all done. Look at that. There's 5.
Didn't you pick those up at March to Victory 1?
At March to Victory 1, and then I painted all of them also. A bunch of them were already painted, but then I went through and finished painting all of them, intending to run at March to Victory 2 a thing / to hand them out at Bolt Action stuff, and then I realized that they were a larger scale than most Bolt Action miniatures. So I didn't wind up just passing them out at Bolt Action events. But yeah, we're not going to get into that. Those are two big old ships.
What's up, Kit? What's up, buddy?
Again, the semi-frustrating part is that I've just Fistful of Lead is so easy to play that I've designed a whole bunch of stuff just around playing Fistful of Lead, because it's simple and it's a really good way to just blow through a collection's worth of miniatures and then have rules to play anyways. That it makes it not pointless to get after other miniatures, but it's certainly eases that. So I've been able to cut down on a lot of my rules variety, which is a good thing, very nice thing. But in
Right.
times like this, it makes it's one of those dope moments.
Right.
Let's see here. I will be posting a tank in the Notch Discord for all of you to attempt to identify. Extra points if you can do that. That's pretty cool. Now we're doing the standard old man walk around the house, turn off the lights. There's no 6 mil over here. No, there's not. There's a couple buildings, but those are shitty buildings anyways. There's Reggie. Okay, good.
Right, buddy.
Oh, there's something I can paint and knock out and have a good day just whipping through. This 15 millimeter boat.
Oh yeah, there you go.
My Battle of St. Louis game. That looks like a late Victorian, early 1900s. Little tramp steamer enough. The scale might be a little bit fucky though. I'll tell you what.
Nah.
No, it's not too bad.
For 15?
Yeah. Here it is with a base of Union infantry on it. It's not too bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
Yeah. Printed that to use in whatchamacallit. To use in All Quiet on the Martian Front St. Louis stuff. Which
Very
I
cool.
did finally assemble to, I think I showed you those last week. I assembled 2 Martian tripods for.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Let's see if there's any 6 mil in this room back here. I don't believe there is. Well, there is some, but it's not the right period 6 mil. It's 6 millimeter naval. So like, here's some big old launches. Couple of those. Couple of these littler launches. Those 2 are both armed. And then there's a couple of just little rowboats, little ship's boats. Here is a British gunboat.
Oh, nice.
It is not rigged, as well as a Dutch Kannenschlip that is also not rigged, but painted. And then there's just a whole bunch of other 6 mil ships. This one's rigged. There you go. The Silk Span. Here is Speedy, entirely rigged, but I need to trim those lines on the gaff, on the spanker. And then here is a Spanish ship that my dad fell down on, and I'm kind of concerned as to how I'm going to fix that main mast without either breaking it off or breaking it loose from the hull. Also awkward. Here's some 15 mil Napoleonic naval. Big cutting out party. So again, that guy's got a little carronade on the front of it, and then 10 Marines in the front with some Royal Navy crew. Here's another one of those, but that's just generic, so I left the front open for any Marine crew to sit down in the front of. Got to pull the sails off of this guy real quick because they are temporarily on there. But here's another generic ship's boat with a guy sitting in the stern, and then sails. Those are all 15 mil. Here's some 15 mil Great Lakes gunships, gunboats. They are rigged. They're just not that exciting when they're rigged. Gunboat number 5. A couple 15 millimeter, I guess 1 to 100 technically brigs.
Yeah.
I replaced the guns on those because the ones that come with are terrible. So I've got carronades on the main gun deck, and then 2 bow chasers that you can see right here that are long guns. And there's this one that's painted black and gray. And then that one is rigged. I like to not put sails on it. And then this one that's the same thing with the same gun conversions, also rigged, but blue or brown and gray. There is a Chebec in the back of that shelf that I'm not going to pull down. Here is a 15 millimeter, or again, 1 to 100 Baltimore Clipper. You can tell I also armed that thing with carronades because go figure. That thing's fully rigged and sailed. And painted. Again, it's a Baltimore Clipper, so its hull is just brown. Let's see. Where the fuck are all the rest of the big ships? Oh, they're in the closet over there. Couple bases of livestock. Wee sheeps. Wee cows.
Bad.
Badass. There's an unpainted Bonhomme Richard and USS Constitution. Here's a castle. We'll play on that someday.
We got to use that.
Yeah, we'll play on that someday. Ideally, we'd run a linked campaign between rabbits and some medieval guys. And if the rabbits did real good, then they'd attack that thing. And if the medieval guys did real good, they'd attack the rabbit village. But yeah.
Nordic Maelstrom says, I've been directed to crash this live session, McMurray.
By who? Good luck.
Probably the boys.
What boys?
Jeff and Todd.
Are Jeff and Todd live right now? Are they fucking around with GCACW?
I guess they're over because we've got Damn Tim here also. This is a raid.
Yeah, I have no idea. I didn't even know
Charles is back. Hello again.
I didn't know they were doing anything. Cool. That's fun. Thanks for letting me know, guys.
Yeah, right.
To Toddy and Jeffy. Let's see here. What else are we going to look at?
Yeah, they just finished and directed us to pop in. Well, thanks for coming over, guys. This isn't the most exciting of our shows, but we are getting to see a lot of McMurray's stuff, which we like to do about once a quarter.
Here's a pretty cool African Queen 3D print that I put a Maxim in the bow of.
Where's Bogart and Hepburn?
This is a 3D print that is of the African Queen. This is not the African Queen. This is a similar steam launch. Big fan of this model, but I have 2 of them. So I made this one up like a good little, Royal Navy Riverine gunboat of about 1905. And then this other one right here is the one. So you can see I mounted a mast on this one. This is the one that I'm going to beat up and make all gnarly. I'm going to have to add a canopy. It's not the exact African Queen, but it's pretty close. And this is one that's going to get all grossified at some point. Here is a local legend, the Piasaw bird.
There you go.
This I printed. This is as big as I could print it on that Mars 2 Pro. If I ever get that Saturn working, I will print it far larger to be in, 28 mil.
Yeah,
this line is about 28 mil, but I feel like if it's a mythical Piasaw bird, it needs to be way bigger. So I'm calling this one 15.
Well, I mean, it is really big on the side of the.
It's quite large on the
cliff there.
You are correct.
Reese says, "Hey y'all."
Hey,
Reese,
fuck, why don't you jump on?
Yeah, you got the link, buddy. Unless you're, fucking hip deep in a dishwasher. Nordic Maelstrom says, I actually just watched that movie a few weeks ago. I'm assuming he means African Queen.
Yeah,
Hexy says, hi, hi, hi.
What's up?
Hex to Hex says, hi, hi, hi. And LBW Steve is here. Hey, how you doing, Steve?
Yeah, even
Long time no
Wardrobe Plays
see.
World War II is here.
Yeah, African Queen, the girl of my dreams. You take me where I've never been.
Let's see. Here's some modern terrain that I could probably stand to paint. Finish up painting my Shantytown Kickstarter. There's that. There's another building here. And then there's a couple larger buildings. We're not going to get into that. Again, right now we're just doing a 6mm roll call. I was talking to Todd about that earlier. I guess that would explain why Todd just stopped responding to me. So I guess that makes me feel a little bit better about that chunk. But
yeah, he says, I need to watch African Queen again. Hobby Room is under multi-day complete redo. All righty.
who's this?
Nordic Maelstrom says Maureen O'Hara is the best from that era of Hollywood. And then Reese says, so I'll join by chatting. Yeah, Reese said Hobby Room is under multi-day redo. LBW Steve says, hanging in there. Thanks for asking. 6mm scale is fun. Absolutely it is. But, you know, what's even better than 6mm?
All kinds of stuff depending on what you're trying to play.
3mm.
Let's see.
But
yeah, Toddy, I think I'm going to trying to come up with a second game to put on for March to Victory that would not be using Wily rules, so that I keep forgetting that, oh yeah, part of the idea is to make it more than just a Wily Games convention. So I think I'm going to try and put on a 6mm armor game, which is why I was asking about Blitzkrieg Commander 4. I dug up my rule book, was looking at that a little bit more. If you could lend a hand and we could whip out a game of Blitzkrieg Commander 4 at some point in time, that would be super duper helpful. And yeah, here's a cool 3D print.
LBAW Steve's got some 2mm AWI.
Nice. Yeah, I have a bunch of 2mm ACW and Napoleonics. I really actually like painting 2mm, especially when they're blocks. That makes fantastic. Yeah, that's the idea, Todd. I think that I have the armor to play a big game in 15, but I really don't want to. I think it'd be way better in 6.
Nordic Maelstrom says, I didn't like painting 6mm infantry, but the vehicles and tanks are fun to paint.
The infantry is just so easy. Here's another big 28 or a decent 28mm ship.
There you go. Yeah,
that's a fun.
I remember when you printed that.
8 guns. 8 guns. It's weird. It's got like a Quebec stern on it, which is kind of weird, but whatever. I think the infantry are some of the easiest things to paint in 6mm, especially in World War II, because you're just dotting. It's kind of nice. I can understand where 6mm like AWI would be rough. I have a bunch of 6mm, essentially Anglo-Zulu War British that I painted up that weren't too bad. I didn't kill myself painting their valises. I just kind of went with red, understanding that obviously there would be strapping there. But then I figured out that it's a 2-inch strap, which means that each one on the model should be 1/150th of an inch across. And I said, nope.
Right. Reese wants to know, should I do my 1/600 air game as an official game that weekend? Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely, because that 1/600 air, if you're talking about the simplified one that we played the simple one we played after we played
Undaunted,
then absolutely it is wonderfully fun. I had a blast of a time. If we could get some more games in before then, I would absolutely put that on myself and paint the miniatures that I've got sitting right here, or use the miniatures that I've got sitting right here. Yeah, it's pretty outstanding. See, Todd says yes, and Todd has already marked March to Victory in his calendar. So, yeah. You know where there's more 6mm? Don't thank me yet, Panzer Shadow. Don't thank me yet, friend. Just remember when there's more 6 mil.
All right, we're about to see if my British destroyers came out. We just finished printing.
Yeah, it's definitely warm in this room. This is the 3D printer room. Yeah, it's definitely warm in here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Good stuff.
All right, so first off, this is where I was printing enough stuff to be some random conf group. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 30 Jagdpanzer 4s sitting here. I think there's a full company of Panthers as well, a couple Ostwinds and Merble wagons, as well as probably 60 or so Stug 4s. Somewhere I have just an ape shitload of German half tracks as well. I just don't know exactly where those are sitting at the current moment. Oh my god, there's so many friggin' Stugs right here.
Oh.
Here's a bunch of M18s in 15 mil. But yeah. So I got 4 M18s and then a 15 mil command Jeep and 2 M20s. Todd should recognize that configuration. It's pretty standard Flames of War 2-section tank destroyer platoon. This is also where there's a whole bunch of 15 millimeter 40K. So there's a Lehman Russ Vanquisher and all that nonsense, as well as, oh, these are cool. These are really cool. These are some of the 21st Infantry or 21st Panzer Division's Becker Panzers. So there's the French Renault, whatever it was, hull with the 105. And then there's 2 more with the 75 on them. These are cool because the models are actually, the STLs have crew figures in them, which is badass. And then there's a whole bunch. I printed a bunch of German 250s to go with it. So there's 4 of the MP 250s, or 5 of them, then 1 of the Pack 36 command vehicles.
Now, what scale are those? 10?
No, these are 15. Those are 15s, as well as the M18s. And then I also did a couple 251s just because. I'm sorry, I had those swapped. Now, fun fact, in 28, there's 3 of those little Lancias that you guys saw earlier in 6 mil, which, fun fact, are right about the same size as one of the German half tracks.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Hexy, no, I haven't rearranged my room. I just changed the angle of the camera. And there's more things for me to change to. LBW Steve says, "Are you removing it, Todd?" No, that was classic. So Steve, this GCACW has made me not want to finish Battle of Normandy at the moment. Might put it away to work through a Panzer Blitz playthrough, Crete game, and GCACW. Reese says, McMurray, do you have a tabletop sim, or we can do it over video, remote?
I don't have tabletop simulator. I do have a bunch of random World War I biplanes that I printed out, though.
Oh, there you go. Hex wants to know, where are these STLs from, Andrew?
Most of them are Bergman. I don't remember. They're all from Thingiverse. All of them are from Thingiverse. I don't remember where I got the 21st Panzer guys. I don't think they're on Bergman stuff, but the Lancias, they are. this AB 40 or 41 that I just put up here. There's two of these in 28 mil up here too, because again, I had a bit of a problem there for quite a while. Still do. Here's
I was about to say, did?
baby, look at that.
Oh
We're at
yeah.
144 P38 for buddy of mine who likes Blood Red Skies. Here's Toddy's. I printed out a bunch of Allied, like tank destroyer or ground support aircraft when Todd was playing 6 mil, and then he stopped playing 6 mil before I got him to him. So yeah, so there's a bunch of Thunderbolts and Typhoons. Oh, here's a couple Stücke zu Fuß. So the 250 with, or 251 with the
big rockets on the side.
1 centimeter Nebelwerfer mat or rocket racks on them.
I think so.
Here's some German flamethrower half tracks. These are all in 6. Bunch more just German regular half tracks in 6. Some 6 millimeter Vespa, 150 on a French Unic half track, UNIC, not EU. Sick fucks. There are some of the French same little tiny Renault UEs that the Germans put rocket racks on. Again, I was building 21st Panzer, so it's a lot of Beute Panzers, which are captured.
Nordic Maelstrom says, I wouldn't mind getting into Blood Red Skies, but the prices on that stuff is absurd.
It is. It's not a bad game. It's not my favorite, though. And then there's obviously just a shitload of what everybody loves. 16000 Naval. Oh, so beautiful. I fucking love that skin. God dang, man. Good.
Where did you get the files for the 6 millimeter stuff? For aircraft, there's a lot on Thingiverse.
Yeah, so basically everything is Thingiverse. The 6 mil, the tanks are almost all M. Bergman files. He makes a bunch in 1/100 and then a bunch in 1/200, which means it's a pretty simple scaling issue to go from one of those either down to 1/285 or 1/300, because I deal with a lot of heroics and Ross stuff. So the 1/300 works pretty well. Or you can just true scale them based on their dimensions. Whether that's usually I go with length because there's not a lot to determine or to throw off length unless I notice that there's like fuel Bowsers on the rear of the vehicle or something like that. There's a cool one. There's a big 1/1200 scale. Is that? That's pretty mark. Here's a 1/1200 Revenge class. What is that, Chris? What is that, Chris? Chris, what is that? Is that a Revenge class, Chris? I don't think that's a Revenge class.
No, that would not be a Revenge class. That'd be a New York class.
That would be a New York
34.
class. You can see on the rear of that, though, that thing's rear gun turret has the same issue you were having.
Yeah. So it's the same class as this one here.
Yep.
But in a
Here
different
is
scale.
another one of those exhibiting the same curing issue that you had.
Yeah.
Other than that, the gun turrets are all formed properly. So I might actually heat this bad boy up and try and flatten it out. That'd be a pretty cool one to paint. Here's my bricks. So here we have, there's a Revenge. Here's a KG5. Oh, God. See by that weird and wacky quad turret configuration. Anyways, it's hot as shit in here, so I'm getting out of here because there's not. Oh, there is more 6 mil in here. Hang on. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy!
Oh boy, this is gonna be great.
Lots more 6 mil. So we've got a whole bunch more Shermans. What the fuck are these things? Hang on, let me grab this thing. Those are Chafies. So again, Shermans, Chafies. A lot of these I had drilled out or was in the process of drilling out to put wire barrels in, which is why all these Shermans look like they don't have barrels in them, and then some of them do. It's also why the barrels on these four or Jagdpanzer 4s are so absurd. Even for the long Jagdpanzer 4s, it's ridiculous. Some Brits, some more Shermans, more Brits, more Shermans. There's some open-topped guys. What are those? Those M18s? No,
I
those are
just finished printing out the British destroyers for Cape Matapan.
There's the German M3 GMC 75 millimeter half tracks that we used at start. So it's M3 gun motor carriage is GMC. There's German Sturmboats, some of those big old Russian 8-inch howitzers with the treads. Those are cool. Some Pac 40 nests. Those aren't Pac 40s. Those are 3-inch guns. Look at the gun shield, Andrew. Come on. Some French, some SU 76s. What all do we have here? It's hot as shit in here. These are the tanks I was wondering what the hell they were. They're a little weird shaped. You can see the holes a little weird. I'm pretty sure they're either French or Polish early war. They might be Botundas. No, those are trucks. Same with these little turds. There's some Soviet double turreted early war guys. Whole bunch of them, actually. I shouldn't say some. Some more gun emplacements. Here we got some elephants and a couple of king tigers that, again, I was getting ready to draw gun barrels for. And a platoon of Brumbar. Hooray! What are you? Not along. So, there is more 6mm. There's always more 6mm. These are cool. I got these for a quarter a piece. That's always fun.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Nordic says really need to get a 3D printer sometime soon. I'd print out a bunch of World War I and World War II ships, among other things. Oh yeah.
World War I ships are kind of tricky to get a hold of. Empire, broadside Empires of Steel has them. They are 18 shades of a pain in the ass to get. Jesus Christ, man. I still haven't figured out. Allegedly, if you order, so the way you order ships from them is you like build a ship roster, like an army list on their website, and then you go to checkout. And allegedly, I can't figure out how to get them to send me the STLs, because every time I do it, they're trying to send me ships. The issue is for 1/1500 scale ships, doing like $35 a piece and shipping from Australia. And they
bark at that noise.
Yeah, they can have a good time, smoking their crack pipe somewhere else with that shit.
They can stuff their didgeridoo full of wombat dung and smoke it.
Yeah.
He also wants to know how many 6mm tanks can you make in one print. Well, on my, and I know these are 3mm, but in my Mars 3 4K Pro, I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can get 36 M60s on a single build plate in 3mm.
So it depends, Nord, on what size printer you have. If you are remotely technologically literate as well, then you can probably figure out opening up mesh mixer and putting the turret onto the tank hull. That way it's one print, not a hull print and then a turret print separate.
Like that.
Mainly because at
like
6mm, mainly because at 6mm, you really don't want those turrets loose and rotating and separating anyways. But the nice part about that is that then you also damn near double the number of prints you can get onto a build plate. On my old Mars 2 Pro, which is what I did a lot of that with, which is by no means a large build plate. It's like the size of an index card. If not even a little smaller, maybe. I could usually get, if I was printing out turrets and tanks, so like the Panthers, I got 16 to a build plate. And then I think with the Stugs, I was like 24 or 20. And so I would usually, especially at 6mm, I would just print them vertically with, the front of the tank up and the rear of the tank down, baby. And I would just print a shitload. The other nice thing is that they're not very long, so they don't go very far off the build plate. So they really don't take long to print. like at
Yeah.
all, which is pretty handy, like really handy, because you can
So-
really print a lot of tanks in no time.
So in
flat.
6mm, if I did them like this, I'd be able to get 9 per plate.
Wait,
And
9
that's that. Yeah, but that's an M60.
in 6 mil. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
in
got
6
you. I'm
mil.
know what you're stepping in. Yes.
Yeah.
The thing to remember there is that M60s are substantially larger than World War II tanks, except for maybe like a Tiger or King Tiger, and I mean some World War I tanks. But if you're printing for 6mm World War I armor, then you don't really need to worry about anything. If I'm being honest, because that shit's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Reese, if you want me to, I can also bring. I have that blue hex mat. I can bring. It's got, I think, 1-inch hexes, I believe. So that's like, so I have, because I have all my flight stands on 1-inch hexes, Reese. Those steel flight stands that then attach real well to my magnetized airplane. But
We may do another 3D printer show talking about 3D printers here again in the not too distant future.
well, let me figure out at least one that I can actually fucking use.
Well, there is
we do
that.
because I'm driving myself absolutely nuts right now.
That's
like,
fair.
The issue is, I gave a local buddy my Mars 2,
Yeah.
right? Because he was looking to get into 3D printing. I should have just given him this Saturn. I have now 2 of these huge, like cabinet style guys from Tim,
Yeah.
which are awesome. And I'm very happy. But fuck me, I don't have the expertise to do this shit. Like the one of them is 70 fucking pounds, Chris. This thing is huge. It's a frozen Mega 8K or 4K, but a frozen Mega maybe.
Yeah.
The thing is huge, Chris. I can print out hood at 1/600 scale or 1/700 scale and not have to angle it or anything. It just print out flat right on the damn build plate.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's colossal, dude. That's the one I was thinking about. That one also has the build plate. It's weird. It's got holes in the build plate, which is apparently a thing now for bigger prints.
Okay.
I have no idea. Beats me. But I haven't even messed with that thing because I told myself I was going to get that Saturn back up and running and no problem before I fucked with that thing. And now I'm just realizing that that's stupid. I need to get rid of the damn Saturn.
So, have you, with the Saturn, have you thought about angling the STL?
I mean,
Because
the issue is that I'm not even getting to that point. Like, it's not like it's separating from the supports.
No, I was getting where I wasn't getting any. I was not getting any prints at all either. And as soon as I drop those things into an angle, I'm getting perfect prints again.
Well, did you change resin, any of that stuff?
Same resin. All the settings on the printer and in the file are exactly the same. I haven't. The only thing I did is I changed them from sitting like this to sitting like this.
I have no idea how that would affect me.
I don't know either. But I'm not arguing.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know. Step 1, set it up on the build plate. Step 3, profit. Step 2,
Uh-huh.
magic happens.
No, you're right. You're right. You're not wrong. I'm completely lost, to be honest with you.
Reese says, my cobblestone mat has Pacific Island hexes on the back. Might ask to borrow the stands, though.
I got a bunch of them.
And he says, putting together a Pacific World War II free-for-all with no historical basis. Dude, that's a great way to go. That's
Reese,
a great way to go.
Did you ever figure out World War I stats for that, Reese?
I have access to about a dozen World War One, World at War / Wings of War / Wings of Glory airplanes.
Oh yeah, I'm golden on airplanes. If he has stats, then I can put those together and we can run those too.
That World War One fighters really gets people going for some reason.
Yeah, because you can paint them like damn circus tents.
Well, there is that.
Yeah, it's awesome. But
so yeah, I've got quite a bit of painting to do. Basically because I've decided to go. I mean, when you hear you going from 1,600 to 1,300 people, oh, it's twice the size. No, they're 4 times as big. Because they're twice as long and twice as
square
wide.
cube law, baby.
Yep. So there's going to be not a lot more painting, but yeah, I'm going to want to do a little more detail on them. Definitely want to make sure I got my Italians with their candy stripes on the front. Nordic wants to know, what is the price range for 3D printing 6mm World War II stuff? I mean, about how much would it cost per tank, for example? Like a penny.
Yeah, legitimately less than a nickel. It's to the point where it's negligible.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, you're blowing through maybe $1.50's worth of resin
for a build plate, maybe.
Yeah, and that includes supports and all that nonsense, like just total. It really is negligible, to be honest with you. One of the, $30 kilograms of resin will last you long enough to print, honest to God, probably goddamn near a division worth of, certainly tanks, easily a division's worth of tanks, easily. But if you're going for all of the support vehicles and everything else, like Chris was doing, you can still probably easily get through it with a kilogram of resin.
To give you an idea, I just printed. Hold on here. So I just printed all of these destroyers. That's a total of 14 British destroyers. And it's going to cost... Oh, that can't be right. It says here 27 cents. I guess might because it's only 9.3 grams.
Yeah, so that's out of your 1,000 milliliters, you could print that 100 times and still have leftover resin. Yeah, so that's actually right. Yeah.
Yeah, about 28 cents. So 2 cents per ship. Including all of the
supports, the raft, the puddle.
The supports and the raft and everything. So yeah, it's
Like I
Oh,
said, it's negligible, man.
you know, this here was probably, oh, I don't know. I think that might have been like 10 cents, 15 cents of resin.
So that's how I
Maybe.
actually justified or like prioritized my Mars 2 Pro, right? Was I immediately printed enough micro armor to offset the cost.
Right.
I think at the time I paid like $210 for it, which told me that I needed to do like 18 packs of micro armor, essentially worth of tanks at the time's micro armor prices. It wasn't
Right.
until I realized that was only about 6 build plates worth of tanks that I said, "Oh, sweet Jesus, yes, absolutely."
Yeah.
Like when compared to micro armor, or even, I mean, CNC also. I mean, CNC is obviously the more economic, version, whether you're doing CNC or Heroics and Ross to GHQ models, and even then, it blows it out of the water.
Yeah. So what I am printing on right now is a Mars 3 4K. And a Mars 3 Pro 4K. Right now, they're selling them for $185. And I'll be honest, I couldn't be happier with this printer. Once I got it figured out.
That was honestly the nice thing about that too, was that there wasn't barely a figure out process. And while it wasn't a huge build plate, it was still large enough that I printed off a 28 millimeter. I could print off 28 millimeter tanks without any problem until I hit like a King Tiger or a T28.
Yeah.
And you can still do it. You just had to do it vertically.
Right. Yeah. So $185, and they're constantly running sales. Where when I bought my bought my resin printer, the most recent one that I bought, I got it for like $140, and then a bottle of resin for like damn near nothing comparatively, because I also got a $10. I think it ended up costing me like $14 for the bottle of resin because I had a $10 coupon to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's all told, because shipping was free and there was no tax. I mean, I was right around $155, and I was good to go. So yeah, that would be, $150 gets you 10 packs. That's 50 tanks. Hey Hissy, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah. If you're smart about how you rotate things and you again put the turrets down into the hull, depending on the tank, you can certainly get 50 out of 2 build plates, if not 3 if they're big.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Man, does Elegoo still sell the Mars 2 Pro?
Not new.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
They've got the Mars 2 Pro 2K pre-owned.
I'm
in
good.
the US.
I'm not fucking with anything pre-owned with 3D printers. Half the time when you order Amazon resin, it comes pre-owned and it's all fucked up and old and opened.
Yeah.
On the bright side, they sent me a new bottle the last time that happened.
There you go. Pre-owned from when you buy directly from Elegoo is you're not going to get any of the accessories. Like you're not going to get the thumb drive. You might not get the little spatula on it,
Mhm.
but it does pass the power on test. It does pass the functionality test. It does pass the movement test. Um, and they're returned, not refurbished. So somebody bought it,
Uh-huh.
didn't like it, sent it back.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Um,
Don't worry
yeah,
about it.
exactly. Yeah. Honestly, for the price that you're getting, um, I mean, for the price you're given, you might as well buy new, to be perfectly honest. He says, I'm big into early World War II, so most of the tanks are smallish in comparison to later war stuff. Yeah, so you can get a shit ton
Yeah, like dude,
of
Panzer
tanks.
ones are going to be laughable. You probably get, especially so again, that's what that old small printer that I had, right? Um, is what I'm talking about with 16 Panthers
Yeah.
when I was printing turrets as well. You're going to get a laughable number of Panzer ones off that. Yeah, I mean French tanks, you might only get a dozen or 15 out of a small entry printer if you're doing like chars. But if you're doing like R35s or something like that, it's just, again, it's going to be laughable. And then especially if you want to print like World War II ships, it's the same thing. I can't recommend you enough. If you're looking to do, and I realized this when I was farting with my last one, that if you're looking to do large engagements in like 1/2400, honest to God, unless you're really looking for Panzerschiff, and then even then, if you're doing two-sided large engagements, it still might be more economically viable to buy a small entry-level Elegoo 3D printer and then the Gukek files
Yeah.
and 3D print it yourself.
Gukek, that's what these are, Gukek, and they're designed to be printed at 1/1800, but
I can
damn if
tell you
they're not.
they scale up to 1/1200 and down to 1/6000 beautifully.
Oh yeah, absolutely
Beautifully.
amazing work. And the price for them is beyond compare, in my opinion. I mean, it. I think the
Well, that's the thing is that I wound up buying the Nation like packs, right?
yeah
So instead of looking and picking out, because he usually knocks 50% off of it or somewhere around there.
yeah
So choosing from half the ship classes that were used by a nation in World War II, and then having to buy extra if I ever need to. Then I didn't do everything, but I don't know if stuff has changed since then. But I wound up grabbing all the German, all the Italian, and all the British
right.
ships that are used in the war. And again, that's one of those, you buy, a battleship from Jesus Christ, GHQ for $18 or something, and you realize how rapidly that shit pays for itself, because all of a sudden you buy, let's say you just want to put the Revenge class on the table, because the Royal Navy, at least for a while there, tended to kind of cluster ships based on class. And all of a sudden you're most of the way, you've either paid pretty much for all the British ships in STL form, or
Yeah.
the 3D printer. So in either case, you're not looking too shabby.
No. And he also says my biggest fear is I have no experience with 3D printing and I have to learn from nothing. I'm apprehensive about it, but honestly, I can see the value. And see, the thing about that is, I'll put it out here. I'm here. Reach out to me and say, "Hey, man, this is what I got. Where do I go next?" So I think next week we'll.
Panther Shell. I'll be real honest with you. I bought an Elegoo Mars 2 Pro at the time because that's what Chris was printing on and it's what John Harrington was printing on. So I knew that when I inevitably had questions, I could just ask those two. Which is a little dickish maybe, but it worked. I mean,
Chris Long, how you doing,
I'm about to say, if anybody has questions about printing, he's the man to ask. Chris, what machines are you guys using?
Like he says, if a derp like me can print, anyone can.
Well, the issue is I'm having real trouble right now, Chris. What do you, again, the question is, what do you guys usually print on? Because he has a pretty teeming business going on, or at least his printers go burr quite frequently.
Yeah. Actually, I'm surprised I haven't used my Neptune for quite a while. I need to get it back up and running. And not that anything's wrong with it. I just need to find something to print.
That's fair. What did I just print on my Neptune? I don't remember.
Last thing I printed were bowls for Donna.
Oh, that's what it was. That awesome terrain Kickstarter that Reese was talking about last week or the week before. Probably last week. Rugged Hills that, looked super awesome. The Kickstarter looked great. The designs looked great. They said, we finished on Saturday and the files are ready for immediate release. Immediate release, apparently means like March or April, which is dong water and not at all what their Kickstarter made it sound like.
Right.
So I was all hyped last weekend. I was off and that was supposed to, go and be good on Friday or Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So I was all excited. I made sure I was at home, took care of what I needed to so I could start printing stuff. And then it fulfilled. And I kind of figured it'd be like, oh, hang on, give us a day, what have you. They did say it was ready for immediate launch, but I was like, how immediate is immediate in all actuality? Like, it'll probably be a day or so.
Right.
No. Nah, March, April. So thanks, Reese. Appreciate that one.
Yeah, he says, I'm sorry, I told you wrong. Doesn't fulfill till...
Doug, you didn't tell me wrong. That is also legitimately what they had on their Kickstarter in the little fulfillment thing.
Yeah.
That's not a Reese. That's not a you fault thing. I just wanted to mess with you. That was a not cool.
On their part.
Don't remember the name of the company, but yeah. But yeah, Reese, if you have World War I stats for your simplified air combat, let me know because I will bring World War I fighters as well, and that would be a cool thing to print out while I'm waiting for some Old Glory stuff to come on. If Brian would hop on here.
Right. Chris Long says he's got 2 Mars. Hold on. 2 Mars, 2 Saturns, and a Saturn S. And for filament, he uses Neptunes.
Okay, Chris, have you ever had problems with your Saturn S? Mine is going absolutely nuts. Have you noticed? Here's actually a question just generically for Chris Long. Have you noticed that it is harder? It seems to me like I'm having more failures on the larger printers than I ever did on my Mars 2 Pro, despite the fact that the larger printer is more modern. Because again, I'm trying to make a Saturn S run, and I don't know if the issue is with the the larger FEP, there's more flex and that causes more problems, or what. But it's goofing me up. So that's whatever. But I just, it's driving me nuts because I can't figure out what the hell's going on. I've re-leveled, done everything like that, and yeah. I can't figure it out. I don't know. I even tried printing out larger printers. It's flex and FEP. So what's the solution to that? Do you up the distance that the plate comes off the FEP? Do you have to up the bed fail last night? Bad. I don't know how, what quantifies bad, because I haven't had a single successful print in trying to print beds full of stuff in the past 2 weeks, and I don't know what the hell's going on. I re-leveled, flushing and filtering. I filtered 100% of everything twice earlier today to make sure that I didn't have any floaties, any of that stuff. Shook the piss out of it. Cleaned everything out, cleaned it out real good, got everything off the bed, got everything off the FEP. The FEP's not cloudy. I'm driving myself nuts here. I made sure that it's warm in there, the whole 9 yards. I finally got little nubs of supports to print, and I wound up with I think 14 or 15 ships that were supposed to be on the Saturn S bed. 2 of them were still attached to the supports, and they were mangled pretty good. They were separated from the supports. I don't know if that's they need to be cured longer. I don't know. But
and here I am just plugging away in fucking 65-degree room.
Yeah, exactly. That's driving me nuts. Which it shouldn't be. It's not driving me nuts that you're doing well. It's driving me nuts that I can't figure out how to make this fucking thing work.
Right.
Changing curing time onto bed on first bed layers I'm finding. So I'm not, when I'm trying this out, the raft prints just fine. Hell, for a while there, the lip on the raft was printing just fine, and the base of the supports wasn't printing at all, which is weird because those should be in the same layers. But yeah, I'm not getting, it's not that I'm having bed adhesion. That's not a problem. That's fine. I'm getting stuff, everything that should be sticking to the bed is sticking to the bed. The raft is printing gorgeous, and after that, just little to nothing is working.
Ooh, almost every mini fell into the tank. That's no bueno.
Oh yeah, no, that's standard operating procedure around here. I'm pretty fucking bad at this.
That's a crap ton of destroyers.
That is, nor not very long at all. So basically, with resin, the determinant of how long something takes to print is how tall it is off of the print bed. And with most 6mm tanks, even with you printing them barrel up, so barrel pointing away from the build plate, and I used to set them off 5mm as well, it would still be under 2 hours per build plate. So you can print them fast, man. You can print them fast. Ships are even funnier because, yeah. I appreciate
So-
it, Walkabout. So I'm losing my damn mind here. Like to the point where I was just thinking about grabbing I legitimately, in case you missed that earlier, asked Chris what they were selling Mars 2 Pros for. So I was just going to say, fuck it and grab another Mars 2 Pro. Like pulling out for, getting rid of that one of them. But it's okay. I got more than my money's worth out of that machine. So it's
So
time
so
to
a build plate full of these size, the 1/6000 scale, 45 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Not only that, but you can print a shitload. I fit the entire Kriegsmarine onto a build plate. I'm sure I didn't hit all the destroyers, I'm sure, but I certainly hit a dozen destroyers. The 2 Bismarcks, the 2 Scharnhorsts, the 4 Admiral Hippers, the 2 Graf or Lutzows. Well, I think they were Deutschland class, even though they renamed it.
Take care, Reese.
Series, as well as a bunch of the K class and L class light cruisers, and then a shitload of destroyers, all on one build plate because they're tiny, man. It's awesome. Let's see here.
Nordic says it definitely sounds like 3D printing is something I should get into going forward. Either that or somehow con you into making stuff for me. That wouldn't be the first time I've printed for somebody else. I printed these 3 dudes for my best friend, Chris Copeland, who lives over in Kansas City.
Not me right now,
Right.
Unfortunately, because nothing is going, and I hate it, actually.
So I'm looking here.
Driving me absolutely fucking insane.
You've got a Saturn S?
Yeah, which was dumb. I should have just gotten a Saturn, because that's what all the aftermarket support is for.
And they don't even make the Saturn. They're not even doing the Saturn anymore.
Well, probably not, man.
And they've got the Saturn 8K for $299.
Jesus Christ, that's huge.
You can get the Saturn 2 8K for $299 also. And then the Saturn 3 12K for $380.
I'm gonna be real honest with you. With Chris talking about kind of confirming what I was worried about in terms of larger FEP being more troubles, I'm almost tempted. Like I said, there was nothing that I wanted to print that I couldn't print on that Mars 2 Pro.
Right.
It's just like I said, if I wanted to print a King Tiger, I was going to have to print a hull and then a turret on the next print.
Right.
Which, newsflash, doesn't fucking bother me at all.
Right. Well,
like
I think the thing with the Saturn and the even bigger Jupiter, I think that works better on single models.
Yeah, it's for people who are printing like busts and shit, or any number of things that aren't miniatures. Like there's a huge amount of 3D printing like community out there that isn't just miniatures. Like I realize it's tempting to think that, but there's a ton that aren't.
No, I did not get the Mars 3 Pro 4K. I just got the Mars 3 4K because the $40 difference between the Mars 3 4K and the Mars 3 Pro 4K was the filter.
Oh, I have those. Do you want a filter?
No, I don't need a filter.
I have spare filters.
Okay.
Yeah.
The problem is they're sold out of the Mars 4K right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Of course. Of course. Of course they are.
Yeah, it happens. But anyways, it's just the Mars 3 4K.
Yeah, the Mars 3 4K is sold out right now.
Yeah. No, you're good. I got you.
So.
Oh, look at that. Best resin 3D printer for beginners 2023.
Yep. So I wouldn't doubt that their 4 series will come down in price here in the next 6 to 9 months.
You could get one brand new primed on Amazon delivered tomorrow for $170.
A Mars 3 4K or a Pro 4K?
Just the Mars 3.
Okay.
Yeah, the Mars 3 4K that doesn't have the whatchamacallit?
The filter.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, guys, it is past 10 o'clock. I have not eaten dinner yet. I raced. I had some stuff to do after work in town. So I literally got home 20 minutes before we started tonight. So I'm a little hungry. The difference between a regular and a pro printer, in the case of the Mars 3 4K, an air filter. And maybe, nope, that's it. An air filter, $40 for an air filter. That, people talk about the fumes and everything. I haven't noticed a problem, and I'm literally 6 feet away from mine.
I have slept many a night in the same room as my old Mars without being overly disturbed by it.
Yeah.
There's certainly a smell to the resin, but it's not by any means overpowering.
And I find the IPA, the 99% alcohol that I use for cleaning, more distressing to the nasal passages.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you on that one, to be honest with you.
So,
but
yeah, I think Nord, keep an eye out. I will do a better job of posting early enough. If you're not already subscribe. And in the next couple of weeks, I think we'll do another 3D printing session where we talk more about it. So anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut out. Like I said, this weekend I had thought about doing a 24-hour paint and chat, but to launch the paint challenge for March, but I think I'm going to hold off until May. We'll see what happens. I've got some life things coming up. So take care, guys. Thanks for dropping in, McMurray. Thanks for a tour of your stuff. That's always fun to watch what you got.
Yeah.
So,
by all means, guys, if you guys see stuff that you want to see more of, just holler and we've had a couple many things with just random shit in McMurray's house. We can absolutely do that again.
Yep. So, all right. As always, until next time, we will see you on the flip side.